Hello, Cornerstone Church. Pastor Phil here on day 3 of our 21 days of prayer and fasting. We come to day 3. The theme of day 3 is find rest with the one who said, "Come to me." The passage is from Mathew chapter 11, 27 through 30. I encourage you to read that. The auxiliary readings are Joshua chapter 1 and Hebrews chapter 4. Again, all good things, all good readings. But I want to focus on the yoke that he speaks about in Matthew chapter 11. Dana Olson rightly points out in the notice section of our theme, of our guide, a yoke was a wooden frame for joining oxen to do the heavy lifting in a hard job. It formed the tractor of Jesus' day to work the fields or haul a huge load. What he doesn't say is that what the yoke did was the yoke combined the effort of multiple animals and enabled those animals to pull together in a united way. That's what the yoke did. It stretched across the two animals. In most cases, it would be a two oxen yoke, and it would enable those two oxen to work together, and they would both share the burden of pulling that load or plowing that field or whatever it was that they were being asked to do in that moment. Now, the beautiful thing about the yoke that Jesus is talking about, he says, "Take my yoke upon you." And the way in which that gives us rest, the way in which that frees us from the heavy lifting, is that it enables us to walk with him. That's the goal, and that's the benefit of his yoke, is that we walk with him. See, we have nothing to give. So when we join our efforts to his, it's not like our efforts are really doing anything. It's all his effort. What happens when we take his yoke upon us is that his effort gets applied to our lives, and we get to walk with him in an effective way. And Dana mentions the fact that in the life of the first century Jews that listened to this, the Pharisees had turned religion into a heavy load. It was a crushing load. I think he says a crushing burden. And that's true of religion in any day. That's what religion does. Religion is the don't do's, the thou shall nots of any faith system. And any time that you focus on what you can't do, it becomes a crushing burden. But Jesus came to give life, and he gives life by joining his life with ours, by enabling us to join our life with his, that we might receive his spirit, that we might be filled with his spirit, that we might have his yoke and walk with him in a way that gives life. See, we can't be righteous. We will never be righteous in our flesh. We will never be righteous by the works of the law, by doing good things. But we can become righteous by joining our lives together with him. Then his righteousness gets imputed to us. So when we take his yoke upon us, then we walk with him and we become made righteous. We don't become righteous by doing good things. We become righteous by his righteousness being given to us. And then we can do good things in his power. And it's his power that does them, and it's no longer our power. And that's the yoke. Now, he does one other thing in this day. He encourages us to pray for others. So, do you know other people who have not found rest in Jesus? Family members, friends, neighbors, co-workers. You know, that's always the theme. Our First Friday prayer meetings are always prayer for the lost. We want to pray for those that don't know Jesus to come into a life-saving relationship with him, a life-giving relationship with him. So what he encourages us to do today is to write down the names of some people. And you're probably doing this on your computer, so it's not going to give you the opportunity to write. But maybe you want to print up that page. Or if you have a prayer journal that you work with, we have in times past encouraged people to keep a prayer journal. It's basically a notebook where you write down things that you've prayed for, people that you're praying for, and then you see how God answers those prayers. So if you have a prayer journal, write the names in that prayer journal. But the point is that we would be thinking about other people, that we would be thinking about them coming to know Jesus, walking with Jesus, and finding rest for their souls. Christianity is never an isolated thing in the sense that once we find it, we hold it and we keep it to ourselves. It's always meant to be shared. It's always meant to be given away. Jesus said, freely you have received, freely give. And so we need to give this away. And our theme being prayer, we want to do that through praying for other people. So I want to encourage you as we go through day 3, that you would understand what it means to join your life together with Jesus, that you would understand what it means to walk with him and find rest in that relationship with him. We don't find rest in anything else but in that relationship with him. All the things we do, our corporate worship, our study of the Bible, all of that is to enhance our relationship with him, to help us to know him better and to walk with him better. And then he concludes with a prayer of rest. So I commend that to you. Read through that prayer of rest, but then pray that prayer of rest for yourself and for the people that maybe God has put in your heart. So God bless you. Have a wonderful day walking with Jesus and resting in him. In Jesus' name.